Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast, and we are looking at player props here on Monday to kick off the work week with you guys. We also have best bets up in a separate episode looking at some sides and totals, so definitely want to make sure to subscribe to that page and continue to follow along with us the rest of this NBA season and into the playoffs, of course. Nate, let's go ahead and keep rolling here with these player props, a little 3-1 on Friday. Let's get into your first play here from Monday night.
Yeah, it's your boy Josh Gidday, and over 26.5 PRA is the number I'm willing to take to get a better odds here. I mean, 25.5 is available, juiced up, but I think he could cruise over this. Just coming off a 23-point, 15 rebound, 10 assist game against the Bucks with Ayo Dosunmu out for the first time this season, first opportunity to play without him, and Ayo is doubtful again here. That makes sense because, who is Giddey getting yanked for? If Billy Donovan decides he's not functioning well, it's Ayo. Otherwise the Bulls are having a clear downgrade with whatever else guard they throw out there. So, certainly if he gets the 36 minutes, he's with the Bulls, he's 16, 9 and 9, so he would cruise past this. The matchup is extremely desirable here against the Hornets. So, he just cooked Damian Lillard. Now he gets Vasilij Micić, two of the least effective defensive point guards at the point of attack. I know you love Micić, but he does have a 120 defensive rating in his last 6 and is just not going to be, athletic enough, I think, to keep Giddey out of there in terms of drawing to, kicking, scoring in the paint. The Hornets do allow the most assists to point guards in their last 15, 9th most rebounds. They're also giving up a ton of three-point attempts, and that's where the assists will come from. And they're also just the worst offensive team in terms of shooting, so that will be plenty of rebounding opportunities. Giddey is averaging about 29.5 and 6.5 in 6 career against the Hornets, 5 of those with the Thunder, and one of those being a complete blowout where he played under 20 minutes. You remove that, he's averaging 22, 10, and 7. His assist rate is up 10% with the Bulls versus with the Thunder last year. He's obviously way more involved in the offense. They play way faster than OKC. They should just be trying to outgun this team, which is wounded, as we mentioned in Best Bets. The Hornets missing a ton of guys here, including good defenders in Brandon Miller. Giddey, to get over this, a double-double is plus 250 and a triple-double is plus 1250 if you think he can, long shot, very long shot, if he can back that up from last game, but it's not out of the question.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree with me because I don't there's not really enough to go, well, with Ayo out, Josh Giddey better, but it's correlated so far for sure in at least one game. And 2, that is the only dude that can come in and do anything, replicate any of the Josh Giddey minutes, right, is Ayo. He is the most versatile when it comes to being able to pass, shoot, rebound, get out in the break, cause problems on defense. Well, way better defender than Josh Giddey. That's not even close. But without him, there is no proper substitute. It's kind of like attacking Julian Strawther when Jamal Murray is out. It's like this is his replica. This is what he does. And Ayo, even when he's starting alongside Giddey, still actually does take a lot out from what Giddey does as well. They do very similar things on the court as the sort of Swiss Army knife for this squad. So I like this look for sure. If you look at Giddey when he's on the floor with the guys he's going to be on the floor with tonight, including Pat Will, he's got some really, really good numbers. I can't believe I called him Pat Will, like he deserves a nickname. Anyway, let me move on to pick 1 here. I'm going with Jarrett Allen. And man, I know Evan Mobley is like the sexy young toy that everybody just wants to play with, but Jarrett Allen is still a very, 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 very good center. And I'm taking him against a team to get a double-double here. That's probably back to close to even money. I got a plus 130 that was hanging on FanDuel for the double-double. That was probably just incorrect. Everybody else had the best number at plus 105, but I would take this down to minus 110 for Jarrett Allen on the double-double for whatever you're finding. The Dubs don't have a center. Unless you want to call Draymond a center, I'm not willing to call anybody that's 6'5" a center in the NBA, as good as they are at what they do. You've also got Trace Jackson-Davis out there. I doubt we're going to see very much Kevon Looney. He's sort of safe. This would be the game you'd see Kevon Looney. But those rotations are weird as Jonathan Kuminga continues to get a few more minutes and prove that he could be the missing piece for the Dubs if they let him be. But at any rate, for centers, there's not much to stop him. This is something he did earlier this season. Last year, he didn't play quite as many minutes as he's playing this year, so it wasn't quite the same against the Dubs, but the rebounds were still there. He just didn't score very many points. This year, love the points in addition to it. They're at 12.5 for the core prop. If you look at the last 10 centers to play against this team, rather, 8 of those last 10 have recorded double-digit boards versus this squad. The only 2 who did not were Rudy. He had 9. Şengün had 8. The Rudy game, that was just normal. He just missed it. Nas played a little bit more than him. Şengün just didn't get it either. Had about 18 rebound chances. But and then in the other one, there was a Dallas game in there where like Gafford had 9 and Lively had 8. So I'm going to chalk that up to them giving up double-digit rebounds to the opposing center when that's the biggest split of centers probably in the league, evenly so in terms of the minutes for Lively and Gafford. So for Allen, if you give him 30-plus minutes, he's pretty good to go here. On the season as a whole, 29 games that he's played, he's gone over this in 20, averaging 10.1, and he's played 28-plus minutes at least in 20 games this year, 20 of those 29 games. If he plays 28 plus minutes, he's at 19 of 20 games where he's hit the over on the at least, or the double specifically. So yeah, I'm pretty good with that hit right there. I think this was just mispriced originally against a team that is not good at rebounding in the dubs at all, especially the centers where they're giving up like the third most rebounds to the position. And the only other thing I would add is once again, Jared Allen over 3.5 first quarter points has hit at a like 72% rate this season. So do with that what you will. I'm just going to keep pointing it out to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I like it because I think he'll get the minutes. I think the Cavs, after just completely destroying the Warriors in a tough travel spot for the Warriors earlier this year in Cleveland, Warriors will have some revenge on their mind against old pal Kenny Atkinson. So I think they will be able to hang here at home for sure. And then, yeah, that just leads to rebounding opportunities down the stretch for Allen. And like you said, he starts scoring hot, so 10-10, not too hard to achieve. And while the Warriors did struggle, Draymond Green was fine in terms of his minutes in that game. So I'll take the assists again. Over 5.5 assists is minus 110. And that was something he actually did in 21 minutes in that blowout loss. So it's not like Atkinson, just because they worked together so closely for years, has the complete blueprint for Draymond. That information sharing goes both ways, and Draymond fancies himself a pretty good basketball mind who can certainly try to crack the Cavs defense a little more here. But I think more importantly, this is a play to try to get ahead of the curve on a little post-Christmas shakeup for the Warriors, which we've only really seen one game so far because Draymond, Steph missed Friday. They did nothing against the Clippers, but then they come back, both play against the Suns, and very effective on both ends. Kind of the old Draymond who played 35 minutes in that one, and now in his last 2, he kind of Christmas, only 7 assists per game, but 14 potentials and a team high 62 passes. So definitely back to that role as kind of the quarterback of this offense, spraying it out for some shooters. Pods is not going to play tonight, right? So that's probably better for getting some shooters on the perimeter if you have Schroeder to kick it to, Wiggins, whatever. And the Cavs are actually allowing the highest 3-point percentage in the league on the road, 40%. They're in December, they're allowing 117 defensive rating on the road versus 102 at home, where they're undefeated, where they're just nasty, as you say. So, they should give up some points here. There should be some pace and space. The rebounds are also there, but I don't really want to add 8 or 9 for Draymond because you never know when he's going to be going for them himself. But you do know he's going to be looking to pass. He's not going to be looking to score against Evan Mobley, right? That's probably the key here. It's he can't go all the way to the rim against these Twin Towers. He hit a couple threes on Saturday. That ain't happening again. He knows he's out there to get other people cooking, right? And so this has had a 70% hit rate in the last 20 for him, even though he's been in and out of the starting lineup. It looks like now he's locked back into that starting role as Kerr tries to figure things out. He's always liable to switch things up, but I think you're going to get 30 minutes here. And for all the reasons I laid out, I think he's going to be ready to play against Cleveland.
Yeah. The only reason I would say wait to hit it, not even don't hit it, the only reason I'd say wait is if he is not announced in the starting lineup or it's announced that somebody else is. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I don't think Kuminga is going to be starting or taking anybody's spot there unless Wiggins is out or something like that. They just love his ability to go up against the second unit. Even if Draymond isn't in the second unit or is not starting, I should say, he's going to be out there in closing minutes. He's going to be out there for close to 30 minutes. And the only reason I'd say wait is maybe you get a better number if he is when those lineups are announced. But then you're also talking about waiting till maybe 20 minutes before tip to actually make a bet, which is how the NBA works sometimes when you get those lineup announcements. But either way, even if you hit it right now at minus 110 for 6 dimes for him, I'm good with that. I'm a little bit less good on the rebounds too. So I like that you just did the assist, but I'm not actually scared of the points. If you get the points at 6.5 for him, they're mostly 7.5, but if you get a 6.5 number, yeah, I don't even care about the threes or not threes. Like, he is taking closer to like 7 or 8 shots at this point on the team. So I'm okay with that as well. But the rebounds, it's the Cavs, man. I don't like taking too many players to get boards against them. In fact, I'd probably be fading Kuminga 6.5 rebounds and going under that. He's had some really good games against Yusuf Nurkic, who can jump about this high up off the ground. So I don't really give him too much credit for getting boards against that Phoenix team, which is bad at rebounding. But let me go back to that Pelly's game where I talked about the Clippers winning in best bets, and I'm going to take Norm Powell. Over 23.5 points, can still get that. There are some 24.5s hanging around, but I'm down to drink a little bit of the juice here. Take minus 125 for him to get the 23.5 points. But do with that what you will. I'm just a guy that's going to take the point when you give it to me in my favor. But it's spot up shooting. It's transition. Boom. That's what Norm Powell does. Crab cakes in football. Norm Powell here with the spot up shooting. This is the second worst defense against spot up shooting or catch and shoot. Which, by the way, for those of you wondering, the difference is simply that the catch and shoot can be on the move. You could even take a dribble or two and then pull up after a catch. That's still considered catch and shoot. Spot up is going to be no dribbles. You're set. You're in the same spot. You pull it. So it's basically the same shot. But either way, he's doing this really well. And New Orleans allows the second most makes off of the catch and shoot. Norm is averaging 9, almost 10 field goals per game off the catch and shoot. So let's just start there. I do think Harden assists is pretty nicely correlated with this bet as well. I do think he's going to be spraying. And the Pelicans do give up a ton of point guard assists as well. They're in the bottom 6, I believe, because they are the 6th worst. That's why I say it like that. Ahead allowing assists to the point guard. They are also allowing the second most fast break points. The teams are getting out into transition against them quite frequently. They are the dead second to last in an opponent transition frequency. So do with that what you will, but there are teams that know that they can run, and it's in part because there's nobody at the rim. And that's the other thing I like about Norm is that if you do try to run him off the 3-point line in this game, there's just not going to be anybody to meet him once he gets past the 3-point line and inside, especially with that athleticism. So that's a huge part of it. A really nice look to sort of show us how he might perform tonight. He's played against 10 teams that were in the bottom 10, allowing catch and shoot points and makes off of the field goals from 3 or from anywhere. In those 10 games, he's averaging 27 a game, and he's gone over in 8 of 10. So this is just another perfect matchup. He'll probably be getting the Trey Murphy look. No disrespect to Trey's defense, but at the very least, he won't have to deal with Herb Jones, who will be bothering James Harden, which will lead me to like the assists more than the points or anything for Harden as well.
Yeah, I think you talked me into betting the over here for 220 for the game. Like, I think that's a really good look considering how the Pellies have been improving offensively, but just still been hemorrhaging points. And for all the reasons you laid out, Powell should eat, Harden should eat, even if Herb Jones is on him. Zubac should just be dunking the ball relentlessly against a team that can't protect the rim. And then, maybe CJ, Trey Murphy at home, they keep him close, but Pell's gone over in 8 of 11. They've hit this 220 in 10 of 11. Only the Knicks have really played a low scoring game with them. And the Clippers, maybe you're getting a little value because they just played low scoring with the Dubs without their guys. But once they go out of the division a little bit, and out of the familiarity, the Clips can get into these higher scoring games.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. The pace for the Pellies has been up. In the last 10, they're up to 7th in pace. Even the Clips in their last 10, up to 17th in pace, where normally they're about 23rd on the season. They're definitely up in their pace as well a bit. And getting out into that fast break, which I mentioned, is actually sneaky good for them. You don't think of them as a moving out into transition, but they have the 13th highest transition frequency, 7th over the course of the last 10 games. So this is definitely a team that will get out and move if you don't make very many shots against them, or you're just slow to get back, which is what the Pelicans do. So that's all the time we have for you, though, in Play At Props. Definitely want to make sure to subscribe to that page. Check out the Best Bets episode we have alongside this one. And until we see you next, happy betting.